Hey guys, welcome back to another issue of Star Wars Build the Millennium Falcon with me, Brad M73. We still are kind of in the midst of waiting for my airbrush, and it's like there's so much I want to do, but I don't have my airbrush yet. So in the meantime, I'm kind of going through some of the assembly steps as they arise, and maybe a little bit of painting and things like that, but really not too much. I got a little bit more done on the Millennium Falcon cockpit. I think I might have shown you guys this previously. I can't really remember. But we've got issue 17 here, which has a pretty big piece of hull framing. It's got a gigantic hole in it, which I think is actually where the lighting is going to go. I think. I could be really wrong there. We also have the upper piece of the hallway frame passage here, and we've got the pads for the wall. Now, as much as I really want to put the pads on, or the hallway cushions, I'm still waiting on that airbrush, and I haven't really gotten my mixture of the color that I want to use for the inside of the walkways and the tubes and things like that. So I'm kind of holding off on doing this just yet until I get that airbrush. Then I'm really going to start mixing paints up and getting everything primed and all that good stuff. So probably going to hold off on that for right now, but we're going to open this up. We do have a little joining spacer, or I'm sorry, a 2-point or 2-screw joiner there. Hopefully you can see that. So don't lose that if you've got it. But we'll get the framing put together here. So let's take a look really quick. I'm going to set that aside. We'll take a quick look at this month's issue. Hopefully you can see everything there. We've got the Advanced X1 prototype for the TIE Advanced. This was, I believe it was Darth Vader's ship during the first Star Wars movie, actually. And I can't remember if these were in... I don't think they were in Empire Strikes Back, but I'm pretty sure they were in Return of the Jedi, but I don't know. It's been a while. So yeah, we've got Darth Vader's ship. It's got some information on Darth Vader and possibly the actual ship itself. I haven't read any of this yet because obviously this is new to me. We have some more information on visiting Mustafar, however you say that. This was the lava planet, kind of volcanic planet from the Star Wars Episode 3, which was what, Revenge of the Sith or something like that. Anyway, this was probably the best of the prequel movies because, let's just face it, Jar Jar ruined the first movie, yeah. So the second movie had its good parts and bad parts, mainly being, or the bad parts mainly being the acting, but we're not talking about this. We're talking about the Millennium Falcon. It goes into a little bit about orbital mechanics here and how the Millennium Falcon is going to get into orbit. Now, with this being said, it doesn't really break it down into like super rocket science level stuff. Because I actually did kind of glance over some of this earlier, and it just kind of takes an enthusiast look at orbiting and things like that. So anyway, that's kind of nice. And lastly, we have our parts for this issue. The exterior hull says parts 1 and 8 are for the underside of the hull. 1 and 8. What's part? Oh, 8. That's the hull frame there. Okay. So we have a whole section here about fitting the corridor cushions. And like I said, I'm still kind of like confused as to actually what I want to do. So like I said, once I get the airbrush and I really start doing a lot of painting, I'm actually going to document a lot of the painting process. So we're going to go back through a lot of these things and repaint them anyway. Now, for something like the corridor, and I know in the last issue, or the last episode, which was 16, I think, we did have a little issue here with this thing being popped up. And actually, all I did was loosen the screws, kind of press it down into place more, re-screw this, and it was perfectly fine. I'm just going to pull out just a little bit here so you can kind of see what's going on a little bit better. But, going over the floors with, a base coat and like a top coat, I kind of want to get more of a metallic look to these floors, because when you look at them in the movies, they look pretty slick. And I think I mentioned this before, like if you were to drop a glass of water in there and, Han comes running through, he's going to like slip and bust his butt big time. Where here they're kind of flat. And so I kind of want to get some type of more of a metallic look to this. And I'm really just kind of going through freeze framing the movie, trying to really see what the floor looks like, and trying to figure out how am I going to best, to my mind's eye, reproduce that with paint. And that's a really tough question to answer. So, especially when I don't have access to the paints, I have to look online or get tips from other, you guys, what you guys are doing, because I don't want to do exactly what somebody else is doing. I definitely want to put my own touch to it. So as far as the corridor cushions go, as much as I really want to put those on, they are probably going to wait. But we can kind of fit the upper corridor together and kind of see a little bit better how it's going to actually fit into the hold, which I have sitting right over here. Next up, we have really just more of that, putting the hold together, and how to, pop the holes, the little, pins up here, and lock it all together. And I want to kind of look also, it's just saying, fit the top corridor, blah, blah, hold this assembly corridors, or hold the completed corridor assembly together, fit the end ring, part 3, over the recess in the end of the corridor. And this is something we'll go back and look at. The end ring will keep the two halves of the corridor together, temporarily plug the other end of the corridor into the doorway of the hold. So I don't know, just knowing what I know about this already, it doesn't really look like anything's going to hold it in place. But I don't know, once we get it together, who knows. So we're going to come back in just a second, and I'm going to see about fitting these frame pieces together. Now, I think they want us to hold off until a later episode or a later issue to actually assemble these pieces. So I'm going to kind of take a look. I've got up through issue 20 here, so I might look at those really quick and see what I want to do and kind of develop a plan. But that's issue 17, and we'll be right back with some assembly. Okay, guys, so let's get started. We're going to open up the parts bag for issue 17, and pardon the mess here. Actually, it's not too bad. Hopefully I have everything kind of organized, at least organized the way I like to organize things, which is probably not the most organized. Okay, throw that paper clip away. Actually, we'll just throw that paper away. We won't need that. We've got another nice piece of hull plating. Here's this hole, which is going to be on the front. I don't know exactly which side this is going to go on just yet. Actually, it probably goes over here. And on the back side, we can see there are 2 posts on either side. My guess is this is going to be one of the lower lights. There was some discussion on the official DeAgostini forum recently regarding the lighting kits and things like that. And while they didn't really go into full detail on all the lighting that would be included, they did briefly mention that there would actually be some exterior light on the lower hull. And so my guess is there's probably going to be like a little circuit board or something that's going to fit over top of this. We'll screw down into these two little side posts and then run the wires somewhere, and that will provide some illumination for the lower lighting. So that's just an observation. I have no confirmation of that whatsoever. I'm going to pull the sprue out here really quickly. We can see there's kind of a light wash on these pieces. I don't know yet whether or not they actually look pretty good. I might actually dirty them up a little bit more, maybe put some color in there. We've got like a really long thin piece. Those will probably, the top piece here probably goes there. The thin piece will probably go right above that. Then I believe there's a cutout on top of that. Then we've got smaller pads here, which are probably going to go, let's see here. One of the wider ones is probably going to go here. Do any go? Yeah, it looks like there's some pieces that are going to go up in the tops here. So we've got some pieces. I am going to set this aside for now, though. As I said before, I really want to be able to prime this, and I guess I could do it by brush. I could prime it in maybe black and then paint in some gray. And it's not going to be very noticeable for the hallways. But I would rather do it with an airbrush just so that it's got a nice even tone, and then I can kind of dirty it up from there. The reason why I say that I could probably do it by brush is because the pads are going to be covering up a lot of that area. So I'll really only need to hit the areas around where the pads would be, and a lot of that's not going to be visible, and a lot of it's going to be closed up in this thing anyway once it's completed. So as I said before, the interior has always been kind of something that's a little bit secondary. However, when I do get down to doing all the painting, I want to actually put some effort into it. So I think revisiting this at a later time, as much as I actually do want to get these out and glue them together, I think I am going to wait. So I'm going to set these aside for right now. We're going to pull out the rest of the pieces here. Nothing left in the bag, so I'm going to set that aside. We've got the ring piece here for this. We've got a piece of hull framing. We have a little joiner piece, which is probably going to go right there. That's probably going to join the smaller piece. I would guess we're going to get that in issue 18, which I don't think there's really too much in 18. I think there's just a piece of framing, and I think our first piece of the kind of clear plastic support material or the supporting frame for the lower hull. I think that actually comes in the next episode as well. So I'm going to set this right here for now. We have some of the self-tapping screws. That's probably for the hull. And we have our little black machine screws here. So that's good. And I seem to be missing the screwdriver. Don't know where it would have gotten off to. Was I using it recently? That's kind of strange that it's missing. Is it under here? No. I don't know. I don't know where it's gone off to. So anyway, we'll kind of deal with that here in just a moment. I do want to take a look at this piece and how this all fits together. So there's 3 notches up on the tops of these, which correspond to the 3 holes in the top of the archway. And I'm just going to try to kind of dry fit this together. This seems very off. Oh, if we look here, I'm just going to set this out on something flat. We can actually see that this top little pin is actually offset. So I'm going to turn this around. I'm going to set this back in, and then this should line up properly. There, that's a little bit better. So that's kind of shows the importance of not gluing anything down before you're ready. And so let's go ahead, we'll realign this piece. There are some notches in the top piece that correspond to notches in the lower piece. So you always want to, we want to dry fit this all first. And we can also already see there is, kind of a molding. I don't know if it's an error. It almost looks like this is too big. So we want to kind of pop that into place right there. Over here on the other side, we want to make sure that all of our corridor rings are in place. I could just hear them snapping in place there. And so we've got that. Now that this is together here, we can take this ring, and I'm sure probably down the road we'll super glue this into place. But that fits right there, like so. So that's pretty cool. And then if we come, let's see, we'll have to kind of set that in place like that. And I'm just going to get our hold here. We've got some extra pieces lying about. And as it said in the book, let's plug it in and see how it goes. So actually, well, no, it doesn't really stay in there. But it is keyed, so, we can kind of set it there, and it's, it's not really going to go anywhere. There is a little step right there. That's good. I was wanting to see that. And I'll have to take some pictures to see how it all comes together. Here pretty soon we will be getting the adjoining pieces here. There's another corridor piece that's going to screw in here, as well as the flooring. Hopefully I'm getting this in the picture. There's going to be the floor that goes up towards the cockpit tube. And then we have the gap here for the doorway. This is actually going to go, it's going to be kind of like a L-shaped, or not really a L, but a slightly bent corridor here, which is going to go to the turret shaft, I guess. I don't know if that's actually going to be something that's going to be modeled, but we'll have to see on down the road. So we'll eventually get the pads in place. That will be something that I want to save for a future episode. I want to dry fit all the pieces and so on before I really glue those pieces into place. But it's kind of cool. Now, one thing I really wish they would have done is actually provided the additional padding for these cutaway pieces. The reason why is I would like to take some interior shots with a small camera, with my phone or something like that, in order to kind of have some interior shots of the Falcon. I think that would be something that would be pretty cool to do. And then also down the road, I was kind of wanting to add some additional lighting, possibly on the internals, but it's not really super high on the priority list right now. So yeah, there is that piece. So I'm going to set this aside again. And I'm just going to move that out of the way. I'm going to set this in here for right now. And I'm going to take a look here at this hull frame piece. Now the frame is getting pretty big. I mean, it's pretty significant right now. I'm going to guess that this is probably going to go in Let's see here. Probably going to go right here, maybe? Maybe, baby. I'm going to guess it's going to go right there. I'll tell you what, let me pop this open. It's really bugging me where that screwdriver went off to. I don't know. All right, and ta-da, there is that one. I actually found another flathead screwdriver that has nothing to do with this. I seem to have moved some of my things around. I did not think that I had done that. My screwdriver is actually in the other room. So I'm going to screw these plates on really quick, as well as the little two-piece joiner there. Now this piece you kind of need to be careful with because of the way it's fitting in here. Is it going to screw in place there? It does appear it is going in place. I'm not going to tighten it all the way down just yet. Okay. That's going pretty good. It looks like there's one more, actually two more. It is not a two more. Get our little two-piece out there. Actually, I can throw those away. Okay. And it doesn't really matter which direction this piece goes in. It's not keyed or anything like that. I usually try to use the flat, what I think is the flatter end, to tie those together. There we go. Kind of screw that in just very lightly there. Okay, now I'm going to start really tightening these guys down. I've been watching some other videos out there, and from other people doing their builds, and I'm sorry that I don't have any real names to name off, but I have noticed that on more than one occasion the subject of thread lock has come up for these little black screws. And I definitely do think that investing in some thread lock is probably a pretty good idea, and that will keep all of these little screws from backing out over time, and loosening up the kit. So I don't really know what's available in your area, but Loctite here in the United States is a very popular product. I would think that it would be an international product, but who knows, because I certainly do not. All right, and finally, I think this piece is going to kind of line up right here, like this eventually. So nothing really to hold this in place. I guess I could put a self-tapping screw right there. That will serve to hold that there. And we'll keep that together. If we flip this over like so, we can really see how massive this sucker is going to be. I mean, we don't even have the one side. We can already tell it's going to be coming out to here, which is very, very big. I mean, just here, it's going to be to the other side of this cutting board, which it should be 24 inches by 24 by 36. So we've got 33 inches this way. I don't know if you guys can see. I do have a ruler along the bottom, which is 33 1/4 inches. If we add another, 2 inches or so, I'd say it's pretty close to 36 inches by 24 inches. So pretty cool. And if we just take like a piece like this, this is not going to be indicative of what's here, but you know, it's going to be something like this probably, and so we can see kind of how big this sucker is going to be. I mean, it's just absolutely massive. Actually, it might be out here a little bit more. I'm not really sure. So anyway, this doesn't really line up properly, so I'll set that back aside. But this is going to be so cool. I mean, this just is, as this thing gets bigger and bigger, it just gets more and more impressive. We should have the piece that goes in here fairly soon. I think like issue 19 or 20, we're going to get the whole recess detail. I think the landing legs are going to go in here, and then we can actually see the outline of the forward two hull pieces for the landing gear. So I don't know exactly when those are going to be coming in. I know as the hull goes around, from what I've read in the UK, I think it's issue 32 or 33, we're going to start to see the paneling for the engines, and that actually looks pretty cool. So I just saw some screenshots of that. Hopefully sometime next week, which will be the second week of August, some guys in the UK will have some pictures of that progress. And that's really going to be about it for this issue. I will set my screws aside and save those because we will be needing those later. And even if we don't end up using the little black ones, we have extras, which is always good. And then again, I think in the next episode or next issue, issue 18, I believe we get this next little corner piece here. So definitely some cool stuff coming, guys. Thank you again for watching. If you're enjoying the build, please don't forget to hit that thumbs up button, and please subscribe for this and many more videos in the Millennium Falcon build series, as well as if you're into my gaming channel, you might want to check out some of those videos as well. So guys, I'm Brad M73. We'll see you back for issue 18 of Star Wars Build the Millennium Falcon. Bye for now, guys.